Marco Polo's journey was a remarkable and adventurous expedition that took him from Europe to Asia and back. Here's a brief overview of his journey. Departure from Venice, 1271. Marco Polo, along with his father Niccolò and uncle Maffeo, began their journey from Venice in 1271. They traveled overland through Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, and reached the Mongol Empire's territory. Through Central Asia, the Polos traveled through the Silk Road, passing through various Central Asian regions, including present-day Turkey, Iran, and the Central Asian steppes. Arrival in China, 1275. After several years of traveling, the Polos reached the court of Kublai Khan, the Mongol ruler of the Yuan Dynasty, in what is now Beijing, China. Marco Polo impressed Kublai Khan with his intelligence and linguistic abilities and was appointed to various administrative and diplomatic roles. Exploration of China. Marco Polo spent about 17 years in various parts of China, including areas like Shangdu, Xanadu, and Yangzhou. He traveled extensively within China, learning about its customs, geography, economy, and culture. Journey to Southeast Asia. Marco Polo also embarked on diplomatic missions and explorations to other parts of Asia under Kublai Khan's orders. He traveled to regions like Burma, Myanmar, and India, and possibly as far as Vietnam. Return to Venice, 1292. After many years of service to Kublai Khan, the Polos received permission to return to Venice. They accompanied a Mongol princess who was betrothed to a Persian prince. They embarked on a sea voyage from China to Persia, navigating the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf. Returned to Europe, the Polos eventually reached their hometown of Venice in 1295. At that time, the city was at war with Genoa. Marco Polo was captured and imprisoned during a naval battle between Venice and Genoa. Writing The Travels of Marco Polo, 1298, during his imprisonment, Marco Polo recounted his extensive travels and experiences to his fellow inmate Rustichello of Pisa. Rustichello transcribed Marco Polo's stories into a book, which would later be known as The Travels of Marco Polo, or Il Milione. The book described his journeys, the places he visited, the people he met, and the customs he observed. Marco Polo's accounts of his travels introduced Europe to the wonders and riches of the East and played a significant role in expanding geographical knowledge during the Middle Ages. His tales sparked interest in Asian cultures, trade routes, and exploration. Certainly, here's a more detailed breakdown of Marco Polo's journey and some of the significant places he visited. Venice to Constantinople, Istanbul. Marco Polo and his family began their journey in 1271 by leaving Venice and traveling through Constantinople, which was a major trading hub connecting Europe and Asia. Persia, Iran. The Polos continued through the Persian Empire, where they encountered various cultures and landscapes. They spent time in places like Tabriz and Hormuz, important trading cities. Central Asia. They traveled through the Central Asian steppes, encountering different nomadic tribes and cultures. This part of their journey was arduous, as they had to navigate harsh environments and deal with challenges. Arrival in China. The Polos reached the court of Kublai Khan in 1275. Marco Polo's knowledge of languages, including Mongolian and Persian, and his ability to adapt to the customs impressed Kublai Khan, who appointed him to various administrative roles. Shangdu, Xanadu. Marco Polo spent time in Kublai Khan's summer capital, Shangdu, also known as Xanadu, which he described as a luxurious and grand city. Southern China. Marco Polo traveled to various parts of southern China, including Hangzhou and Quanzhou, where he observed the advanced trade and economic systems. Explorations in Asia. Marco Polo was sent on various missions by Kublai Khan, which took him to regions like Yunnan, Burma, Myanmar, and India. He described his encounters with local customs, religions, and cultures. Return journey. Marco Polo and his family left China in 1292, accompanying a Mongol princess who was being sent to Persia for her marriage. They embarked on a sea voyage, traveling through the Indian Ocean and stopping at various ports along the way. Persia and Anatolia. The Polos traveled through Persia once again, visiting cities like Hormuz and Tabriz. They then moved westward through Anatolia, modern-day Turkey. Arrival in Venice. The Polos finally returned to Venice in 1295, after being away for around 24 years. Their return coincided with the ongoing conflict between Venice and Genoa. Imprisonment and writing. During the war between Venice and Genoa, Marco Polo was captured by the Genoese in 1298. While in prison, he recounted his travels to Rustichello of Pisa, who transcribed the accounts into a book, The Travels of Marco Polo. Legacy. Marco Polo's book became immensely popular and played a crucial role in shaping European perceptions of Asia. His descriptions of the East, including the exotic and valuable goods, influenced trade routes and explorations in the following centuries. Overall, Marco Polo's journey was one of exploration, adventure, and cultural exchange. His accounts offered Europeans a glimpse into distant lands and cultures that were largely unknown at the time, contributing to a greater understanding of the world.